Open this word of prayer.
What are you doing?
Our Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the many blessings of life, Lord. We're just thankful for this day that we've had today. Lord, we ask that you give us the mindfulness to make the correct decisions for our citizens, our constituents, and Lord, we just ask that you let everything we say and do be in accordance to your will. Let it lead to the upbringing of your kingdom. And all in Jesus' precious holy name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Beaver, I will yield the floor to you. Turn the phone on vibrate.
All right, give everybody a little bit of update on the landfill, class 3 that we're trying to close. Talked to Sam this day today. He's waiting for testing, and he said somebody CQ8 report. I don't know what that is. F&M will have to send that. Once they get that report and review everything, they will come and do an on-site review. If everything works out, at the end of 2026, we'll be out of landfill business as far as the class 3. So, on the class 1, it's a little bit different. After 26, we won't have to provide the financial insurance on class 3, but we have some mound of topsoil, and I don't know how long it's been there on the class 1. We'll have to have that pushed over, cover the low spots there. They'll have to be reseeded, but that's not down the road. That has nothing to do with the closure on the class 3. So that's where we stand on the landfill. We mowed it, cut a few trees, because the state said we had to, maybe a couple more trees that we had to cut, and then hopefully by the first of the year, we'll have everything ready to go in 2 more years.
And I know we're looking at this 2 more years out, Steve. On the last question, you may not know the answer for. Just for an option, how much land do we have left? If we were to resume operating, to try to go back to operating our landfill or versus sell it?
That would probably be the best option. I don't think we have much airspace left, especially on the class 3. So
Right.
if something happened, we wouldn't be able to use much of that space at all. So there's not much left.
I was thinking, just off the top of my head, I was thinking we had enough room for 1 or 2 more sales, and that was it.
Maybe not much. You know, the last time that FM did that. Now, what I thought about doing is, you know, we're really behind the game this year, having to have it know if we could get all that stuff under, you know, under control, we could have that cut. Somebody want to cut it for hay, you know, and can use it for hay, so that keeps it under
Right.
control, and then, you know, they benefit also.
Right.
I don't know about the class 1A. It's a little bit more slopier, I guess. I don't know if that's a word.
How much more land do we have out there that is not permitted?
I have no idea off the top of my head.
That, we have quite a bit more land there that joins that's not permitted. And the reason I ask that is I've had some discussions with a guy from Nashville that I've got to know, and his whole family's been in the landfill business. They started one of the big companies and they've sold it out. But, and he said he'd be glad to come down and give his opinion.
Sure.
And meet with me, and when he does, I told him we'd probably do that after the first year, and I'll schedule that, and him and his dad are gonna ride down, but, he comes to our place, quite a bit, and, super nice guy, and he said, yeah, we'll come down and look and see, and he said we would even be interested, you know, if we went that route. If this gets to an unsustainable amount, we would have an option
Yep.
there to definitely look at, liability and cost and that. So that's where I was coming from with that question, and we'll get more into that. So just to let everybody else know that there might be an option out there. It may not be. It may not be anywhere near feasible. But that was expressed to me as, yeah, we'd buy it. And if y'all want it back, you have it back. So I kind of explained the deal. We're under contract prorated with our transfer station.
and that, and he said, yeah, it's a typical deal, that's nothing, but, I'll have to get the, actual TDEC reports and that on where we're at and what we've had done, how much we have left and all of that, but we'll get together on that.
Sure.
Steve, so that's just an idea in my head that, I have discussed, with an outside person, so.
Which we didn't know we had the option of someone cutting it for hay until probably 3 or 4 months ago. They never told us we could do that, so.
Well, if you.
We could have been doing that.
If you get another inspector in 3 or 4 months, it may not be an option.
Well, I hope this guy don't leave. Yeah.
Am I correct? Yeah.
They have different opinions.
Right.
Each one of them does.
Right. Okay.
That's all I have on landfill. If anybody has any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. Moving on to the collection update, you have a printout there where we stand this fiscal year. Right now, in the 4 months, we're minus about almost 60,000, and that's just the tip and fee and the collection there, and more as far as collections. I got the letter today from Waste Connection. I was wondering when it was going to come. They're going to go up 45 cents starting January the 1st, which that's a little bit over 3%. But I do think, nobody wants to go up. The times that we live in, it's going to go up, but at least we have enough time. We didn't get this in January, so.
Yeah, that's it. We have time to get it on that first quarterly bill.
We have time to do that. We have time to, do a little insert with that bill this time and let them know that it's going to go up. Any questions about collection or anything? It was, the tip and fees were probably the highest it's ever been since I've been here, 33,000 in October, which I called down there and said, what, is there a reason for this? Because we've never had over 500 tons, probably 6 times since I've been here in 4 years. And she said she didn't see anything, maybe it was a heavy month. It's like, well, that's the heaviest it's been in 4.5 years, so. But there again, when we have a big month like that, or an expensive month, it usually averages out the next month or middle month, so that's what we're hoping for.
Steve, on your breakdown, bottom, second page here, it's got $154,681 total collections and lawsuits.
Yeah.
Is that applied to the line item above it on collections in total?
That's the collections.
So it's already in the 1.27?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. That's part of the collections.
I can't add that twice, is what
Yeah.
you tried to tell me?
Yes, sir. You can, but it won't be right.
Okay.
Billings went up each quarter also as far as the number of people we're billing now, so we're approaching probably 7,100.
What do you attribute that to?
A lot of people moving in, I bet we get 2 or 3 new customers a week.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of buildings going on now too, so
Well, this here says 7,037.
that's what the contract was, yeah, and that's from January. So we're 42 above that already now.
Right.
I remember they all wanted to buy gun slates too. Get ready to all do it.
Steve, is everybody else getting, 3%, is that what everybody's getting, or do you not?
I don't know, I haven't checked with anybody else. I got this probably after lunch today. I wanted to know, I didn't expect to get it this soon,
Well, when we voted, Brad helped me, but y'all on solid waste there, did we not have, what was the agreement we had with Craig on our CPI? Where did that fall?
It's built in to go up according to their rates with the CPI every year.
That's right.
We chose the option of the.
2.5.
Yeah.
If it went up 2.5 was the lowest, and if it went up above 7, it stayed at 7. If it went to 10%, we were locked in at 7.
So 2.5 was gonna be the minimum?
Yes.
On the CPI?
If it went up, yeah.
Okay.
So it's 0.5% above that,
Sir?
or 0.5% above that.
3%.
We've done that as protection to keep from radical.
So is this the rate that it's gonna be?
Starting January 1st, yeah. It goes from 105,000 a month to 108,000 as far as collection. He didn't have the disposal rate ready, so I was hoping to get that also, so, 62.50, 3% is gonna be more than 45 cents on that, so.
So it's 45 cents a household.
Yeah,
Per month. Yeah. And somebody do the math real quick, what's that be on there, tipping?
well, it's gonna be over $1, just a tipping alone,
Yeah.
yeah. So probably close to $2 in total for the two combined.
Until we have that, well, it's gonna go up with CPI, correct?
Yeah,
So I mean, we can compute it, and that's what it's gonna be when they send it to us.
correct.
Have you computed what
I haven't,
rates?
because I didn't want to give any false numbers until I got them from him. Yeah.
That's why I was asking what maybe others,
Yeah, I can check. To be honest, I can check that.
where we kind of fell in.
But I can't ask him that. Sure will, because like I said, he's still got to send me the disposal rate on that. Hopefully by tomorrow. Any questions about that before we get into the structure?
Is any money to be made at $130 a ton for cardboard?
It's down to 110 now.
Well, that's one thing.
Yeah.
What's a rough, labor cost? Is it feasible to even mess with it?
Cardboard, I don't know, that's the only thing we'll make any money on. But at the end of the day, we're not making any money, Yeah.
Right. Does it?
Only thing, I think we talked about this before, keeps it out of the tipping fee, So that's it.
So that kept how many tons out of the tipping fee for the whole year? Well, we can do that math, but,
I figure these loads, these 25-ton loads and 10-ton loads.
I'd say that's a 10, that's a 20.
Yeah.
That's second for February, one load at 120 for 24.
We're making a lot more money now with the company we're going with, at least they're not charging us any freight, so.
So that's basically a 20-ton load.
Oh, I was doing her shirt. I think 2 trips a week down there, but across the way.
So what about the recycling as far as how are things operationally down there? And
You want me to answer that?
yes, sir, I do.
We've had mechanical issues,
Well,
truck down.
Well, that's where I was trying to go.
Yeah, we got a truck down, we've already sold 2 trucks for surplus, and I think that's on the last sheet there. And we're thinking about selling that box truck for surplus because, we rarely use it. So we're down basically to the new truck, which we got through the COVID money, and that's to get the trailers, transport them back and forth. And we also had that mini dump truck, and that's for litter, so.
Bare minimum.
Yeah, they had that Chevy, 2003 Chevy, I think's what it is. It went down, I hope it's not the transmission, but,
What is our minimum obligation? What have we got to do? What are we?
25% is what you got.
How much?
And
25%.
And SMC covers that
Yeah.
part, our 25%. We are not obligated into the, best I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, we're not obligated to have a.
That's true. That, what they told us was if we stopped recycling in our county, that it could affect some grants. They didn't say you wouldn't get any more grants, but they said it could affect some grants.
That's why I was asking about the minimum requirement.
Unwritten rule there.
Yeah.
If this one county does recycling and this other county doesn't, and it comes down to grant, they're going to give it to the one that does.
So you're operating at an ultra lean, you're down to the bone.
Yeah. We've got, and as I said before, we have some really good employees that show up every day down there, but they're older employees. I don't know how long we're gonna have them, 70s, 80s, one in 60s, so yeah.
How much money are we losing?
I think what was it, maybe about 120? What did
Last
that
one, a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been that consistently since I've been elected.
So,
How many million dollars have we got in grants, though?
that's what I was getting at, how,
Well, they're not talking about just solid waste grants now, they were talking about affecting that 8.24 million that was county given last week.
What I did that, you
No,
did
I don't know, I don't know how it affected.
Pay to play here.
It's in there. But I don't know if we want to go there.
That's what I'm getting
I
at.
think it's good investment for us,
Yeah.
or we keep doing it.
Well, the service that we give, just for an example, at Wrangler, these other places, I mean, it's, there's no, I mean, I know you're getting the commodity, you're getting the product, you know, and they're making the donation, if you will. And that's what we've got to market, and then there's, I mean, as far as any other copper, brass, glass,
No, we don't want glass.
no, that's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
there's nothing else.
We don't want any glass because that costs us. And I don't know that anybody can get recycled glass around here anymore. Nobody will take it. So, and I talked to the guy in Lexington and said, hey, we're taking ours to the landfill. I said, nobody recycling that.
I seen something on the news a couple of weeks ago, it was something in Arkansas, and it was something about the glass.
Yeah.
I can't remember where that was at, but it was pretty
The
interesting.
places in Florida, I mean, they love the shredded paper, you know, stuff like that. They can make money off of it, but, you know, we take plastic to, Henderson, Chester County, I mean, we have to pay for that, it's about $50, $60 a month, so.
correct me if I'm wrong, did back in the day, you kept your old Coke bottles and you carried them and turned them in, or they,
Yeah.
Watch, read, they.
why don't they do that? Why don't they make plastic bottles,
They'll do it, yeah.
plastic bottles and put them in the landfills? Why not go back to glass?
That's way above our pay grade.
I know, I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know why.
Why does a new tractor, Ryan, designed to last for 8 years, and the payments are 7?
Well, I understand we can't,
You know, we're
this
supposed
small body can't answer that question, but I guess in my mind is, where is there's got to be a money stream somewhere.
Well, I'm
The
sure
reason
glass
why-
is cheaper to buy versus the glass bottle.
Sure it is.
I'm sure it's the bottom line there. I'm sure.
You drop that plastic, you can use it, you drop that bottle, so.
And you drop that plastic, China don't need to buy our soybeans.
So we just drown ourselves in garbage.
So we done this over garbage. Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately where it's went.
Well, glass burned in this incinerator,
They said everything would burn in it. That's what I was told, everything you could put in there.
I'll let you get that.
Get to the, I did talk to Edmund. The first question was, could we get out of that contract with Waste Connections if we did something like that? And the answer is no on that. You know, we're in it for 5 years. I'll let Craig look at that too. There's no way to get around it unless, you know, either party breaches, so then we would not be required to fill that contract.
But if we went with the incinerator, it'd probably take close to the time
Yeah.
contract to get that done anyway, and get a payment situation worked out where that you could do other counties, and it'd take multiple counties. Maybe any county could never support it, but
And what he has there, he sent me this is just a generic quote on everything, it's not pertaining to McNair County. He said he would be willing to come back and go over this line by line. A couple things that stood out to me, in my opinion, there on the second page. Not being negative, but, you know, payroll clerk, I think we already have a payroll clerk for the county. Plant manager's making 86,000 or 85,000 there, so I just think some of those, if that's the route we decide to go, could be less than what he has here. Speaking on this a little bit, I was on a Zoom meeting with a few other solid waste directors around the state probably a couple of weeks ago, and this waste energy option came up. Keep in mind, a couple of them that were speaking, they have landfills that are still operational, so they have space to put things. And the reason they said that they didn't go to waste energy is because it's too expensive on the front end. And I talked to Mike Stooksbury about that. It's like, Mike, this is, yeah, well, you can't compare them to Magnet County. We don't have an option of a landfill to put this stuff in. And they were leaning towards more about the recycling, throw away less and recycle more. That was what Mike Nolan said. And then Nick Lytle, who's been here before, when we were talking about the Fluff landfill with James Daniel, he says it doesn't matter what solution that you choose, there's going to be a cost with any one of them. So that's some of the stuff that I learned. I wanted to let you guys in on that.
Steve, the question I have is, how does recycling, because of the commitment or mandate, how does it flow into what you're talking about?
What this, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, is all this is it replaces your recycling because they're going to pull all that stuff out before they put it in that combustor.
Right.
All your metal, your steel, your cardboard, and things like that, they're going to pull out.
So what about that mandate?
That's still recycling. When you take it down here to James Daniel or this company, Central Paper Stock comes and picks their cardboard, that's still part of recycling.
I think one thing that would make this work is, in Magnet County, I'm not saying totally make it work, but would help make it work. In the conversation with James Daniels, of course, he wanted to do that landfill, and that didn't get off the ground. It was gonna cost more than you can imagine for the landfill, but I did have a conversation with him about what we were talking about here, and he was very interested in participating with that. And Ryan had a conversation with Gerdau Steel and Jackson, somebody up there, and there's a different incinerator, or rotary incinerator, what you're gonna call it for this, but same principle. But supposedly, they paid for that in like 3 months. Now, you gotta understand, that's their business, is cars, and the precious metals that they save
Right.
as a result of having that thing. But again, I think partnering with like James Daniels and other people like that could be a positive for Magnet County. As I said a minute ago, if we're gonna do something like this, it's gonna require partnering with other counties around too. But the other counties are in the same shape we're in. 10 years, from what we saw since I've been here 6 years, and 10 more years, we're not gonna be able to afford solid waste. It's gonna be a situation where we're gonna be out of business on it. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be so expensive, you can't do it. So we're gonna have to think about something like this. I don't know if this is the answer, but it is an expensive option, but I do think we need to, at least pursue everything we can for the future, because, again, I see this coming to a head soon.
I was just, concerned about whether or not if you take the tipping fees and take the recycling and the loss of, collections, and there's a tremendous amount there that.
Could be recovered.
Yeah, with or without these reciprocal agreements with other counties, I know you gotta have them for the tonnage and the volume to keep this thing going, but, when I start looking at the math on it, and I start calculating it up, and then year after year after year after year, and these losses, and where we're headed, it's gonna be less than, it's gonna be less than 10 years.
I think
Based
so,
on
too.
the fund
Yeah.
balance and everything else,
We're headed south quickly.
yeah, I know, and Steve he may have shared with us from start to finish. Let's say we had 50% down, and he's going 50% over the next 5-10 years. How long does it take to put this thing up and go?
He said, what was it, the turnaround time or the payback was like 2 to 3 years, from what I remember. Tim, you got a lot of experience with that, is that the payback?
I think some of the figures that they quoted, like Steve said, they're kind of a little bit too ambiguous to make a real guess at it. But the best I think we could do would be 7. And that's how the financiers would look at it too.
So what's this back page where it says use your payback for? 24% ROI.
It's 4 to 4 years. When he was here, I thought he said 2 to 3 when he was here though, when he gave that presentation, yeah.
I would double whatever he said.
Yeah, yeah.
What about the 24% return on investment? Double that?
That's a big number.
Yeah.
Then why isn't everybody else doing it?
Sir?
Then why isn't everybody else doing it and already doing it? There's some
Yeah.
There's some.
My question is, yes, why isn't someone else doing it, and where's one, there's not one in the country?
There's one issue that we have here in West Tennessee, and that is our land is very inexpensive. The places where these operations are running are like Switzerland, Spain, these small countries where an acre of land, you know, fallow land is $300,000-$400,000 an acre. So, I mean, our land is so cheap, inexpensive here, that that's what makes landfills more attractive in the baselines of cost. I mean, if our land values were 10 times what they were, I think it would make a lot more sense.
But the state of Tennessee is strongly encouraging us not to be in the landfill business.
You know, but the Tennessee, state of Tennessee can't give us any help.
That's one thing, Jimmy, that guy, he lives in Murfreesboro, that I've talked to. And, like I say, his family's been in, his granddad's been on multiple landfills. But he said, you're absolutely right, TDEC doesn't want a landfill in the state of Tennessee, and they make it difficult. He said it don't matter to do everything right, they just make it difficult, because they don't want one, and then they don't have to keep them up, and we're not liable years down the road for waste and garbage and that. So as long as everybody's taking it out of state, they're happy as they can be. But that'll come to an end, because that edge of that state line will get further and further and further as they get full.
Steve, any mention of the life expectancy of this unit?
No, not to my knowledge. One other thing we did, I think Kim said there was one similar in Huntsville, right?
There's a couple that are similar. The one in Huntsville is, no, that's being subsidized by the U.S. Army.
And that's why we haven't, I've left voicemail, call to the solid waste director down there, and he's not calling back, and I guess that's it. You know, that's something to do with Army.
That's their Redstone supply. I mean, I think over 50% of their waste stream is coming out of Redstone. But there is one up in Wisconsin, in an area that's kind of like east of Minneapolis, St. Paul area. But then again there, the land values up there are much different than what they are here. So I don't know, you can look at the plant, but the economics would be different.
You know, we can, if you want me to see when Edwin can come back and go over this, you know, I'll do that.
When they talked before, they were saying that the waste from this wasn't hazardous waste. But everything I've read leads that it is a hazardous waste.
Could be.
Yeah, you're gonna have heavy metals, you're gonna have nickel, cadmium, lead. I mean, you're gonna have all the constituents that just won't burn up in 2,000-degree heat. And if people start throwing batteries and stuff in there, and that's an issue that's becoming prevalent around the country, is all the lithium batteries that are ending up in waste streams, and they're having massive fires and explosions and just all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a good and bad and yin and yang to everything that you look at here.
I was just curious about permits and cost of disposal of the waste product.
The first time we met with him, he said that EPA permits regulations were a lot easier than TDEC.
That's what I understood.
Yeah.
And the byproduct of the incinerator was completely inert. Now, here again, that's the salesman's. And we're talking about a $20 million project.
Yeah, he's giving you the best scenario, where it operates under optimum efficiency. But me and Steve looked at like, okay, what happens if there's a malfunction and you discharge a bunch of air contaminants? Well, that's a $50,000 one hit right there at one time. So you're gonna have issues that come up. And especially, these guys say that this process is proven, but I'd rather be kind of skeptical a little bit myself. You gotta be skeptical to
I saw a Redstone down there in Huntsville. Is there another one in North America?
Incinerators?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's there's one in Spooner, there's a bunch up around northern Wisconsin, Minneapolis, I think there's a Connecticut, New York City's got like 3 of them.
You think south?
Huntsville's the closest thing I can think of, maybe a couple in Florida, because they can't really do landfills
Right.
because the water table is so high. I mean, this is not an easy
No.
thing to solve.
Amen.
So the guy in Huntsville won't respond back due
Call
to, due to military,
That's what we're thinking.
what you're assuming?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. You know, I've emailed him, I said, told him that we're considering this, and, you know, if he'd be willing to let us take a look at it and speak to us about it, it's crickets, so.
I'll see what I can find out.
And even had, you know, I've been talking to Mike too, and Mike said, I think I could get you in. 2 days later, he said, no luck, so,
We got a few guys come to the range pretty regular. They may be a little shady, come from Huntsville, military background from that. I'll ping, see if I can find something out.
yeah.
At least to get a hold
Get us
of
in
them,
the-
ask a question. Then we figure out what questions we need to ask. Basically, is it feasible?
Exactly.
It's the main thing, is it feasible in time for.
I want to believe this project, I want to take the whole thing, hook, line, and sinker. But,
Then again, why isn't there one sitting on every
I
corner?
mean, we think $20 million with cost share with corporation. This is not that big, expensive of a project for something of this magnitude. Why
Why
are
is
we
there
in
not more?
McMinn County, the first they proposed? But on the other side of this, I'm skeptical that there might be, we need to continue the conversation with it.
Right.
Steve, back to the collections and the customers. What, our contract number is 7,037, is that correct?
That's correct.
As far as those 42, do you have a customer count as current today?
As of right now, I don't. As far as what it is right now, I don't. I can tell you at the end of the month.
Can you?
Yeah. We'll be adding like 154 more lawsuits to that too in about 30 days after they're recorded.
And most of this is, you think, transfer or moving in here?
Some of them are like houses, new houses being built. Like we get that Pitwick Electric permit list at least twice a week, so.
So is this 42 in this calendar year?
Yeah, 42 what now?
42 more customers?
Yeah.
Is that this kind of calendar year?
Yes. Yeah, from January 1st. You know, for a long time, we were contracted at 6,800.
Right.
And it didn't take us long to pass that by my time here, so.
Wow.
What about the people that move in, or not getting people permits?
Ten camp.
A lot of time people will, if they leave a house, they don't want to pay, so they're going to call and let us know that they moved out.
No, I'm talking about like,
What about these little tent camps?
Yeah, no,
Well, they're back to camping and they got.
yeah. And we've got a couple of in-campers, but as far as tents, you know,
So-
I don't know, Mayor, if you want to share the story that we had this one guy in the south end of the county.
Well, I'll share one, from today. I was on the phone talking to Ryan, going through the middle of Lakewood, catching every third word he said. Now, but, he said, if you're going back to the range, he said, drive on down. It's a driveway split with, it's got two of those little campers. It's right past Ricky Mathena's house. Anybody knows where he lives on?
Yeah, I know where he lives.
224, right past, right down to the bottom of the hill, it's on the right. One of those, and Ryan's like, look at that pile of garbage out there. It is white garbage bags that would cover this whole section we're sitting in, piled looks like they're this high, right beside one of them. But that driveway splits two of them. There's a garbage can at the end of that driveway. And there's a car sitting there, a garbage can and a mailbox. So there's one can, but that goes to two houses. So that's what Ryan was like, since we're going to meet tonight, let's see if we can figure out, you know, what, do you know the address, Ryan? Did you scroll down and, had you got that?
Where's it at pertaining to Ricky's house?
Straight on towards Enville, right at the bottom of the hill on the
Bottom
right.
of it? Yeah, we can find it.
You can see it plain now, you could probably see it before the leaves are gone, but now you can see it.
airplane?
Yep, it's right at the end of those woods, right before it gets to the field.
So you got a pile of that, I mean, even if it's on private property, is that,
Right.
I was gonna ask Guy, is that acceptable? Is that legal this
We
day?
don't have building code, so we can't make them clean it up.
But I don't know why T-Dec would not jump up and down over that, because you know what stuff's leaching out of those bags and there's a stream right down below it. That's environmental hazard.
They probably don't know about it.
It's the closest time.
They're not gonna check it till they know about it.
I admit it.
Yeah.
Going that way, I was gonna cut off.
We just did something about some tires, so we did a few weeks ago.
Third legal, just like you're going to pass Ricky's.
Yeah, you know what, first, before you get back to Sand Hill, right, that first farm, take Wayne out, Jamie and them farm, right when you drop off the hill, right, when you get to where you can see that.
They said, oh, airplane.
Always sit out there, right before you get to it.
Okay.
Yep, it's on the right. You're out, you're out that way, it's in the wood, but you
Well,
can
that's
see
why
it's
you're
back.
staying, so go that way.
You know, there's a bunch of tires, they've got big stacks.
Yeah.
He had them all over the yard, like just strewn over the yard. And he didn't come out and look at it, so you can't do that.
Yep, we're gonna look at it. Something, yeah, I guess there's nothing you can do when somebody's dog tears the yard up every week, tears the garbage up, just throws it all over the road and all over the yard. There's nothing, we have no recourse, no.
I tell them to call, well, I'll call Zach, you know, if there's an issue.
You can't get the dogs, they get out of the
No.
road very quick.
So,
Yeah.
but best thing you can do is file a report, you know, they know who that dog belongs to. Go say something to the owner, which the sheriff's office has been real good about that. We haven't complained, you know.
Cause we've got it that on Farm Bureau. Tennessee is it's supposed to be on a leash. Your dog can be running loose in Tennessee.
You know, we have sent the state down there, to say your neighbor's garbage is blown over in your yard. We have sent the state down there to, and the sheriff's office also, to handle business, saying, look, if you don't clean this up, you're gonna be getting a visit from the state.
Stick your chicken out down there. And if you're harassing your livestock, that's all you got to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you know anybody doing that, I mean, call the office, you know.
Right, that's it.
We don't mind calling.
That's it. And it seems like, and, I mean, which I drive the same path every day, go to work and back, and it seems like it never fails when we have, if we got somebody coming in from all over the world, or somebody coming to the airport flying in, and they drive right, and it never fails, that's the day, the dog, there's 3 dogs, and they've got garbage scattered from,
Yeah, but the dog kind of breaks it. Like my house drive is exactly 1 6-pack from both directions.
that's it, I know.
Exactly.
I used to
One six-pack both ways.
live the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so time I lived one beer at least.
One here.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. If you'd like me to contact Edwin,
Yeah, until the new place.
Yeah.
see when a good time will be for them.
Yes, sir.
Is
And
this something we're putting in auction?
that
Yeah, that's surplus, what they brought.
that's what they brought.
So how do you handle the increase? Will it go in with recommendation from this, or is it just automatic?
It's automatic, when we voted it, so it'll go out on January bill.
Yep. Think we need to wait and see on the disposal. But I think we got time to meet for them again.
Well, how was, I guess, Steve, we'll need to call Mr. McNabb and get that exact motion, or you may have it, you probably got it in your office.
I just think it was,
Uh,
it didn't consider the disposal. I
It
don't
wasn't
think.
considering the
No.
tipping fee, so if we need to increase the,
And Brad made that point up, I think, a few months ago.
if we need to increase it more, yeah, it's not gonna cover. So it currently would be 1540,
1543.
43 if we had to
Oh, like
bump it to 16, go to cover the tipping fee. Possibly 1575, maybe. We'll see what the tipping fees, what they
Let's see
are.
what the tipping fees are before we
Yeah, we
start.
don't know that yet, right?
No, we don't.
But we do need to know that, we need to have a meeting.
Yes, sir, that's why I said that, yeah. We do.
Before the December county commission meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
To get that in the works.
Yep.
The building company can handle that within 3 weeks, can't it?
Think
Or
so.
how- Yeah. I mean,
Well, he was hoping to have it to me later today, but I checked my email before the meeting. He hadn't sent it to me. And
Well,
I
that'd be the
remind,
first chance we'd have to approve it, full
Yeah.
commission as far as the rate increase, but,
Yeah. and I will check with him tomorrow. See if
the
I can
building
get that.
company or the waste connection?
Waste Connections.
Yeah.
But
And then-
technically speaking, it should only go up 3 point whatever percent.
3%. Anybody else have anything for the solid waste committee?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All right, thank y'all.